Today I'm going to be doing a tier list of every Dragon Quest main character or just party member in the entire series, and I've been a fan of the series for pretty much my whole life, and it's almost an obsession in a way, but yeah, it should be interesting to see like who my favourite characters are and why, and who my least favourite characters are and why, and where I would rank them. So yeah, let's just get straight into it. Okay, so first we have the Dragon Quest 1 protagonist. Most of the early Dragon Quest games don't really have a lot of main character monologue or dialogue or even party member dialogue. I would say that I would put the Dragon Quest 1 hero quite low, but for me personally, I don't have many thoughts or feelings about that protagonist. The Dragon Quest 2 protagonists and party members, so the Prince of Cannock and the Princess of Moonbrook, I would say I prefer the princess over the prince, so she would go higher than the prince. Next up we have Erdrick. Obviously Dragon Quest 3 is a staple really in the Dragon Quest franchise, and I think one of the most referenced protagonists for a lot of people, especially the Japanese. The first protagonist they think of is Erdrick, so I would say that Erdrick is actually right at the top for me. I really did like the Dragon Quest 3 story. As for the rest of the characters, you have like blank slate party members, so it's not really like it's not really, I wouldn't rate them that high. Anyways, Dragon Quest 4 protagonists, I would say I would put them just in the middle for me. They're not my favorite. In Dragon Quest 4 it takes you hours into the game to even meet the protagonists, so I would feel more strongly about the party members or side characters, to be honest. Ragnar kind of reminds me of Hendrik from Dragon Quest 11, or Hendrik reminds me of Ragnar. All he cares about is protecting the people. He's a soldier, that's what he does. Yeah, I'd say he's just in the middle really. Elena has one of the brightest personalities in the entire series, especially in Dragon Quest Heroes. I think it really sort of shines in that game because it's only so much that you can do with written dialogue, but when you actually see their characters come to life in voice character form, it really emphasizes the way that they were written, and so for that reason I'd put Elena quite high up. And Kirill, I really like Kirill as well, so I think he'd be in the same tier. They're two of my favorites I think in the whole series. So Boria, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, I'm sorry. Boria is yeah, he's just a wise guy. He cares about protecting Elena the same way that Kirill does, so I put him just slightly below though, or maybe 2 tiers below, because they're not really a character I think about that much. So yeah, I don't want to base this off of all of them being good. It's more about how much I like them or feel drawn to them. So yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I find Torneko really annoying. He's like a traveling merchant and stuff. I get it, he's trying to provide for his family and stuff. Does he even see his family though? I don't know, I just don't like Torneko like that, to be honest with you. I just find him really jarring. I don't know why. I actually prefer Maya over Mina. If I was younger, I'd probably say that I preferred Mina over Maya, but in general I think that Mina's kind of known for being like the more mature sister. Even though she's younger, she's known for being like really cautious and mature and sort of just quiet and can predict the future, because obviously she's like a fortune teller and stuff. But I think as I get older I kind of appreciate Maya more. I think her bubbly personality it really grew on me after a lot of years, I guess. Maybe the reason that I related to Mina when I was younger is because I'm also kind of similar to her. Like I'm quite introverted and quiet and stuff, so I would put Maya slightly above Mina. Saro hates people. I feel like he's not opposed to the idea of justice though. Like I wouldn't say his hatred for people really stems from just being like a horrible person that wants to see innocent people die. I think it comes from watching tragedies happen to people that don't deserve it and hating humanity as a whole. And I really like Saro's character design. A lot of people say that he's like tsundere, or I hope that's how that's pronounced, I'm sorry, but as a whole, yeah, I really like Saro.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
The Dragon Quest 5 hero, I would put them in maybe A tier or B tier. Bianca really annoys me, I'm not gonna lie. I find Bianca to be a little bit jarring. Like, I really like that she's kind of a tomboy. It's a little bit different from what you would expect. I appreciate that she's more of a tomboy and likes adventure and action. I just find her to be a little bit annoying, just a little bit. So I'd put her low for me, and I'd put the saber cat in the same tier. I'm not gonna lie. I used to really like Nera when I was a kid, but I feel like her character is quite sheltered in a way. Like, she cares a lot about what her family thinks of her, and as I've got older, personally, I'm the complete opposite. So is sensitive the right word when it comes to Nera? Because that's how I feel about her as a character. I do think that her character design is really cool though, and I like her spells and magic. But for me, I feel like her character might be a little bit too daydreamer / sensitive / sheltered. So I'd put her maybe in the middle, but I don't hate her though. Deborah kind of makes me laugh. Like, if I had to choose one of the 3 girls for the hero to marry, I would have chose Deborah. I know that she's supposed to be like an asshole or a horrible person, but in a way, she doesn't let people walk all over her, and she expects, she kind of expects princess treatment, and like, I guess you could say she's spoiled, but I just find her funny. I don't know. Her character is just mad funny to me, so I'd put her high up in this list, maybe A tier, B tier. The Dragon Quest VI protagonist, I would say I'd put them in the middle. I do like Carver's character, and I get that he's supposed to be, I think he's a martial artist, right? He kind of reminds me of like a jock or something, but yeah, I like Carver, so I'd put him maybe here. Millie is just okay for me. I would put Ashlyn in C tier. I'm not a huge fan of Nevan, or I hope I'm pronouncing the name right, I'm sorry. I'm not the biggest fan of him. Terry is one of my favourite characters in the whole series. He's one of my favourite sword wielders, and again, he's another character that sort of, he prefers monsters more than people, and he can communicate with monsters. I just think that's really cool. I think that, yeah, I prefer Terry over Millie, and I always have. The Dragon Quest VII protagonist, I would say that Dragon Quest VII is a game that's kind of, it's a very, very long game. I only finished that game, I think, how long ago was it? I think I finished, it took me like a year to finish the game because it was so long, and it had like vocations and just lots of different stuff. It's quite hard. It's, in my opinion, one of the hardest games to complete in the whole series, but it's also one of the most interesting. But as for the hero, I care more about the Dragon Quest VII party members than the protagonist, if that makes sense. Like, I love Maribel and I love Kiefer, and I kind of think about them more so than the protagonist. So I'd put the protagonist quite low in this list. Maribel is one of my favourite characters in the whole series, so I would say that Maribel is, I think, in S tier. I just think that, I don't know, I think she's kind of like a really strong woman or girl. I guess you could call her a girl, but I think she's, I just really like her fiery attitude. I prefer Maribel's like fiery attitude more than Veronica from Dragon Quest XI. I think that the way they did it for Maribel made a lot more sense. It was a lot more mature in a way. I just really like her independence. I like her magic and the vocations and how she can become a sage if you want her to. Just a very useful character, one of my favourites. So, well, I mean, Kiefer, can you really say that Kiefer died in the game? Kiefer, technically he didn't die, he was just trapped in the past when we time travel forward, so he probably died of old age. He didn't have a lot of plot relevance past the part where he gets, I think he gets married. I'm trying to remember now. He doesn't have much plot relevance after he gets trapped in the past to go be with his wife. So I would say that Kiefer is a little bit lower down for me. I did like his character though, and I actually was really upset when he left the game and we couldn't make him a party member, but I do like Ruff, but I do think that, yeah, actually no, I think I put Sir Mervyn in a tier above Ruff, so I put him right here. I think this is pronounced Aish or Ash. I'm gonna say Ash, but I think she was one of the party members that I relied on the most, so for me she's quite high up. The Dragon Quest VIII protagonist is one of my favourite protagonists. I just think that aside from him being like a soldier that was meant to protect the princess. I just think the whole story of him being related to like dragons, I just think that was really cool. But yeah, no, one of my favorites in the whole series franchise. So I'd say S tier, definitely. This is gonna hurt a lot of people's feelings, but I don't like Yangus that much.
You're still fucking a fat, boring hipster rapper, bitch.
Like, yeah, I get it, the whole Core Blimey thing. It's mad funny. I get it. It is funny, and I do love that. But for me, I never used Yangus as a party member. Past a certain point in the game, in the remake of Dragon Quest VIII, he kind of became irrelevant to me because Red is overpowered. And in general, like, I don't know. Jessica, I like Jessica, but I wouldn't say that she's at the very top. I'd say maybe she's A tier for me. I really do like the fact that it's kind of like a inside joke in the Dragon Quest community, but every single time she casts Kafriz in a boss battle, she always gets the finishing blow. On top of that, her character arc, like leaving her mother's house to avenge her brother's death, that's really cool. Yeah, she's not my favourite character though. She's a lot of people's favourite, but not mine. I actually really empathise with Angelo because aside from like this whole like player slash cheater thing that they tried to allude to in his storyline or just character, where he's kind of like he just plays women and stuff, Angelo's actually had a really fucked up backstory. Like, he was an orphan because both of his parents died, and then he moves into a church building and gets adopted by the priests, and then finds his half-brother, and then the half-brother starts bullying him. Like, that guy was not set up for life at all. Like, he had it rough, and it explains why he does the things that he does with women, because he's probably got like avoidant attachment. So I can empathize with him. And then I think nearing the end of the game, he has to literally slay his own half-brother. So it's like, I just feel bad for Angelo. I think he had one of the saddest stories in the whole party. So yeah, for me, Angelo is like A tier, or maybe even S tier, I'm not sure. Red, I just really love Red, the whole accent thing, and I love her clothes. I love that she's a thief. I love that, I love how overpowered she is past a certain point in the game. I just love Red. I love Red. For me, Red is an S tier character. I love her. I love her attitude. I love that she doesn't rely on men for anything. I love that she literally hires men instead of being hired to do something. I don't know, she just lives in like this bungalow in the middle of nowhere with her riches. I just love that. So she's S tier for sure. Mori is like, I don't know, I never really used him in the game, so I would put Mori quite low in that regard. Other than that, the monster arena thing is just really cool. The Dragon Quest IX protagonist, well, the character doesn't have much of a chosen one role, if that makes sense. They're just kind of a person that got caught in a sticky situation and now they have to solve it. Then there's nothing wrong with that. I think that sometimes it's good to stem away from the chosen one trope, but it's more of a customizable character thing. It's more of like you're taking on the role of a hero. So to have an opinion on the Dragon Quest IX protagonist is like having an opinion on myself. So for that reason, I just say that they're in the middle. Yeah. I did like the whole angel concept though. I thought that was amazing. Dragon Quest IX is one of my favorites, and probably one of my longest owned games from the series. So yeah, I mean they're not party members, but Erin, she's pretty cool. I don't know, I like the fact that she runs an inn and she's kind of taking after her father and doing something with that, but I don't have many opinions on her. Selma is like a DLC person that works at a counter, so I don't have many thoughts on Selma either. Patty is like, I think she was in a previous game as well, so this isn't the game she was introduced, but I do think that I like her personality and stuff, but again, I'd put her in the same tier as all of them because they don't have as much plot relevance. Aquila is kind of a strange one because I just feel like Aquila didn't really have his character didn't really move me like that, if that makes sense. I'm actually going to skip the Dragon Quest X characters and protagonists because this game is not available in the West, so I can't really give it any critique because unfortunately I don't know anything about the main story. I wish I did, but it's in Japanese. I don't speak Japanese.
Scams his dad is dead. Everybody scams his dad is dead. Piff, pat, put in the ground, dead. Everybody scams his dad is dead.
The Luminary in Dragon Quest XI, Dragon Quest XI has such like rich party member personalities that it's kind of hard to place the protagonist above them, if that makes sense. Eric is, I think, my favorite character in Dragon Quest XI alongside Serena. I just love Eric. I love that, yeah, I don't know, I think that he's a great sidekick, and he's also got his own little story. Eric's cutscene in the definitive edition of Dragon Quest XI was cold. Like, for that reason, Eric might be S tier for me. Eric might be S tier. His character is cold. Veronica is, a lot of people like Veronica. I don't like Veronica that much. I think that the child's transformation and how it's kind of reflected in her personality, past a certain point, that can be quite jarring for me. I much prefer Serena. I made a video about Serena as to why. So if you haven't seen that, go check that out. But for me, Serena has always been a character that I've resonated more with, so for that reason, Serena is right at the top. I love that she's a late bloomer and that people underestimate her, but throughout the game she just has the best character development, and she's very overlooked, but for me she's the best girl in Dragon Quest XI. A lot of people like Sylvando. I think Sylvando is a fan favourite. I like Sylvando, don't get me wrong, but I feel like in a way, not that he's overrated, but I do like the story arc with his dad though. I thought that was so sick, but he's not my favourite. Let's just put it that way. I feel like Jade's character, she's overpowered in Act 1, but then in Act 2 she kind of becomes, in Act 2 and Act 3 she to me becomes slightly irrelevant. Jade's character can kind of be interpreted as like a ninja, I guess. Everyone loves ninjas, I get it. Everyone loves karate, martial arts, everyone loves that. For me, I just think she doesn't have as much character development as I would like to have seen. For me, I just find her character to be a little bit boring, so I put her in the middle. I don't like Rab at all. I think his character is very annoying. I don't know if it's just the accent or if it's just the continuous talk about the luminary that drives me crazy. I'm not the biggest fan of Rab at all. I did think it was funny though, the Ogler's Digest thing. That shit was hilarious, but for me, I'm not the biggest fan of Rab's, to be honest. I think that his magic is quite weak past a certain point in the game, and I'm not the biggest fan of old man characters, I guess. So yeah. And lastly, we have Hendrik. I really do like Hendrik a lot. I would say that Hendrik is quite high up, if not A tier or S tier, because I really love the story with Jasper, and also how he comes to learn that the Luminary isn't his enemy, and he basically, he'll die by the Luminary now, and it's just like, I respect the accountability. I don't know. Hendrik's character is just kind of really funny. I like that he's serious, but then there's glimpses of him in the game where he gets caught out doing something a little bit unserious or embarrassing, and then he gets all flustered, like whether it's to do with Jade or like the Ogler's Digest. I just think that shit is so like, I just like when games show that standoffish characters have the slightest bit of warmth or silliness. I just think that's really cool. And yeah, that's basically the end of my tier list. That is the full Dragon Quest Hero tier list of every character and party member in the main series. And yeah, maybe next time I'll do spin-offs or a video about main story games. But yeah, I'm quite happy with this list. I could possibly change my mind in the future if I revisited these games, because it has been quite a little while since I last played some of these. But as a whole, I would say that yeah, I'm quite satisfied with this list. Let me know where you would put certain characters, what your favourite game is and why in the comments. And yeah, that's pretty much me, and I'm going now. Bye. I hate outros. Bye.